Yo, what up? It's your boy Zod. Anyways, man, I know this video is not going to be monetized. I'm about to piss a lot of people off. But the way this shit is going now, especially with so many snowflakes and people feeling that it's just right to, be and say certain things, and anything that's spoke against is it's not, if it's not politically correct, not even to do with politics, but as far as like if you're not necessarily on board with the new way of doing things, you're ostracized, and people are, begging to get your channel taken down and to be stricken and all types of stuff. And I'm just gonna get on here and just say like this, man. Before I even play this video, man, this is me reacting to Schultz reacting to this trans MMA fighter, and the whole reason I wanted to react to this is because I constantly get these type of individuals, uh that get at me. They're mad at the fact that I'm not necessarily on board with a lot of this shit that they're doing. Now, to each is their own. If you choose to be who you are and you feel that you're female, or you feel that you're a male, or he, her, she, him, like there's so many terminologies I just can't keep up. You know what I mean? It's like back in the days, it's just like you're either gay, you're a bisexual, you were this, you were lesbian, you know what I mean? And then you have more colorful titles such as lipstick lesbian, you have foods that's flagrant, like all these weird terminologies, but it's I respected that fact because it's something that they chose, and it doesn't necessarily bother me. But to see a grown man sit and choke out a woman, and this is not to, downplay her, her as a female, and say that she wasn't worthy of having the chance to compete against, the transgender man. It's just, they'll get into the terminology. I mean, they'll get into all like the details as far as testosterone, estrogen, and all this other stuff that makes absolutely no sense. At the end of the day, he fought a woman, whether he trans, like he, no matter what he post op asked, whatever, it don't matter. He was, it's a difference, and I'm just not on board with that. No disrespect to you guys, but I'm just not on board with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. It shouldn't get it's not monetized anyway, but hopefully fair right under fair use, whatever.
Okay, let's talk about this beating up these chicks and then this
Feelings,
is
feelings no facts. Feelings no
yeah,
facts.
we're going feelings no facts because it's already to the point where I just want to throw away everything. Okay? I want to throw away everything. We're at the point where it's like, what's the point of a career? Let's just make it all explode. Okay? Let's just go down. Let's go down in a ball of flames. Okay? No, but let's talk about it. This is an interesting story because these things keep on popping up and nobody seems to want to address it. And you know who they never ask how they feel about this, or maybe they do. We just never hear. We always hear about like these right wing pundits are always talking about it. The left wing doesn't really say anything because they know that it's fucked up, but they can't really be anti-trans. So the right wing guys use it as a way to like kind of push back against trans rights. I think, and it's kind of like a convenient
and push
thing.
back against overcorrection. I think more so.
What does that mean?
They're pushing back against what they feel is like the
yeah,
PC movement overreaching.
Yeah.
And this is the one that they think they have the easiest time arguing because it kind of also flips their feminism argument against them.
Yes, and it's like if you have a trans woman in the women's bathroom, that's enough for conservatives to go, yo, this is fucked up. But liberals will be like, you have to respect her as a woman. She just go use the bathroom as a woman. It is what it is. Once you get violence into the equation, right, then all of a sudden there has to be a little bit of pushback. Like, do you want these bitches being beat up by a dude who's like an ex-Navy SEAL?
Right.
Like, the dude was literally ex-military.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him before he transitioned where he's looking like fucking Gordon Ryan, dude. Do you know who that is? The jiu-jitsu dude?
Yeah.
The jiu-jitsu goat? The guy was fucking stacked when he was a dude. Transition to the chick, still in pretty good shape, but there's an image of him choking the fucking shit out of this girl.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious about...
See, now, let me just stop it. You know what I mean? Like, this is under fair use. Hopefully, they don't, and this is more just like I'm saying? It's like, I just don't see it as right. Like, like it's crazy because there's people in my family and there's other people that I know that we had these conversations on exactly, how they feel about people judging them and how they they feel that when they go a lot of places, it's a lot of eyes on them because their life choices. Some are females that go with other females, so they don't get so much of the, you know what I mean, compared to the way a guy would get if you see him in public with another guy. And at the end of the day, when we have these conversations, I tell them like, you know what, it's your choice to do, to do as you will. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, I don't think God makes mistakes. Whether you choose to believe in religion or not, you believe in something, and I don't think there's no mistakes. People are meant to go the way they're gonna go, the same way some people, in some situations turn to violence because they were prone to violence. Some became violent because the certain circumstances that made them violent, made them commit certain crimes because they became accustomed to a certain level. It's like being in a house and watching parents beat up on each other. Eventually, as you get older, a lot of times you either rather, go against that, or you become the same person that you witness. It's a learned process. Now, not to say that this is a learned process. I mean, there are people that I ran into especially when I was younger, that chose to dabble in certain things. For the most part, it was females, because it became like a trend. Now it's more outright, and there's not so much of a stigmatism on women dating women, but there still is a major stigmatism of a man dating a man, because it's like a lot of times the thought, if people thought about it, it's like, oh, hell nah, you know what I mean? Masculinity, that's the one thing that's the most, it's like a man seeing a female, and though he shouldn't, be like, oh yeah, that's good, because it's a female, but it's still widely more accepted. Now, like I said, when I have these conversations with the people that in my family and things, it's always, support, because you need to support your family, but we also have conversations of things that I'm not on board with. I'm all for, love whoever you're gonna love, but I'm not for the, shoving the shit down my children's throat. You know what I mean? As far as like the shit that be on TV, like it's you have all these channels that are like, oh, we're trying to make them more acceptance of, you know what I mean? But not the way you're doing it. In some sense, it's like, yeah, you desensitize people to it, but not when they're 5 and they're 6 and 7, when they're more encourageable. You know what I mean? It's like that's where I kind of like draw the line. So when I see situations like this, where you have a man that has, transitioned to a female, that's his choice. But to write, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta kind of, ask that question. Why would you want to transition to a female and then beat up on females? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what would made you want to, why not just, we're not going to get too technical, because I know there's a lot of people that are going to watch this video and feel some type of way about it. But, these are the type of things that I want to talk about on Zod's Vision. You know what I mean? And I'm still unsure who I'm going to put on my first, my first podcast video, because I don't, I'm looking for that person that's controversial but has their own views, so we can either, I'm not one for debating, because I'm not good at it, but, we can argue, you know what I mean? And you can state your point, and I can try to bring my point across to the best of my ability without, want to get up and fight each other. Like, it's not that part, but Zod's Vision will be one of those platforms where, you give it to it, you're going to give it how you get it. And you're gonna speak from your heart, and it's not gonna be so censored and be like, oh, I can't say this because it's gonna hurt somebody's feelings. Like this video, I know it's gonna hurt a gang of people's feelings, but like I said, I try to let you know that I don't have nothing against you. I'm not for you, spewing that bullshit to my kids, because they have the right to decide whatever way they're gonna go, and regardless of the way they go, I'm still gonna respect their decision. But I don't respect most of these pedophiles that be on social media trying to push that agenda, and then you find out that they got these outlandish crimes on there, and not like murder and things like this, but you touching kids and all this, or rape, or you've been finding out a lot of these cross dressers have had charges similar to. Some are still working on TV, but that's besides the point, man. I'm gonna go back into it.
About is what the girls that are fighting these trans women think.
Yeah, I
Like,
would love to hear that.
That's all I want to hear. I just want to hear the girls. Like, do they look at it as a challenge? Are they really willing to test their fighting skills? Are they going, I'm a martial artist, it doesn't matter who you put in front of me? Are they going, you know what I'm saying?
I actually watched a CNN interview. This was a few years ago. It was probably like 6 or 7 years ago
the
now.
Fallon Fox story,
Like,
probably?
the Fallon Fox fighter. Someone that fought Fallon Fox that was like, yeah, like the CNN reporter was just kind of asking about the fight, and they were like, yeah, you know, it was good, like good competitor, blah, blah, and started trying to bait the conversation into a trans issue.
Yeah.
Where the fighter didn't really seem like she was interested in talking about
Yeah.
trans fighting.
Yeah.
And then kind of got like baited into it, and then like kind of misspoke and was afraid of getting canceled.
I
Yeah.
think if you're
So,
a high level competitor, you're just thinking, I don't care, I want to fight them, and I'm not going to have any excuses. Where you could talk to me all you want about bone density and all this advantage that person might have had for 30 years of being a male genetically, or whatever, sexually, whatever. But I don't want. I just see that as competition, and I should win, and that's it.
There's also a weird steroid.
I think a
thing.
competitor might be like, let's not even let that shit, that is an excuse, enter into my mind. Win or lose, I win or lost, and that's it. A high-level competitor might be like, fuck all the excuses, let's just go.
Because I'm sure the rules are the same as the Olympics, where like they just got to make sure that your testosterone is within a female range,
Right.
right? So if we're basing your strength and ability strictly on testosterone,
Right.
which I think is unfair because there's probably other things that go into it, but
Yeah.
it's like a testosterone estrogen level, right? That's what makes you quote unquote female or be able to compete with these females.
Right.
I just don't subscribe, and maybe it's my sexism. Like, I don't care if I'm a dude that has no testosterone in my body at all. Like, no
Me-
girl's gonna beat me up. Like,
Yeah.
even if she's got testosterone,
Yeah.
right? Like, I know that's sexist to say, but I believe it's completely unfair.
Well, this is where it gets weird because there's a steroids thing that happens.
Okay.
Where a lot of these fighters, men and women, are on steroids.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, yo, do you want to fight a trans woman? And they're like, okay, yeah, it's the same weight class. Like maybe they got more muscle, more bone density, whatever. But their estrogen is higher and their testosterone is lower. And I'm on fucking testosterone. So don't start testing testosterone because my testosterone's crazy. Or like I had to cycle in the off season and then I got off it and started using beta blockers, whatever the fuck.
You're saying
like,
the female competitors,
yeah, exactly.
Right,
Are
the-
on the steroids.
So
And
in
so-
a
Genetically
weird way,
female, for like,
yeah, the genetically female ones. So in a weird way, it kind of exposes testosterone use in female athletes or female MMA fighters, at least because
Right.
they're like, well, fuck, don't test it for testosterone because it's going to expose me that I've been fucking cheating as well.
And then on top of that, they're like,
I think you got to measure clits. I think it's got to be dick or clit. Has to be in like the 1 centimeter to 3 centimeter range.
Yeah.
And then you're good. But if you have like a full cock, like if you're just all like foreskin, if that's all that's left, like the actual like phallus is just kind of shriveled away,
Yeah.
I think you can compete with women.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
just
that.
like a hand and like a pantyhose kind of thing.
Yeah.
This man is a freaking savage. But you see, these are the type of conversation that people need to have. Because at the end of the day, people act like they're too scared to say it. Like you got Boosie. You got him. You got what's his name? Baby. You know what I'm saying? You got and anybody else that speaks on the culture, not even just speaks on that happen in general. Like you have so many channels right now that speak on things that are ghetto based. And the reason I say ghetto based is because you have these channels that they're from the suburbs and they're the a good black kid, the good white kid, the good whatever, but they still feel like it's their right to speak on what's going on in the ghetto. So now you got a lot of people that are from the ghetto or don't have the same walks of life that choose to speak on certain current events, which seems to be this is a major topic. Like a lot of people like to downplay it. But it's like it goes all the way back to like the communist days. You know what I mean? It's like, oh well, certain people that spoke on certain things and seen certain. Oh, you're a communist, so you had no right to speak about it, and they're ostracized. Some of them were communists, some weren't. You know what I mean? And that's what it's kind of come down today. Like if you say like the wrong thing about any individual, it may be just your opinion. Like okay, well I don't, I'm a guy. I don't want to see your ass. You're a guy. You know what I mean? And you would think different because being incarcerated, that's all you do see. But it's like, okay, well that's you have to. You're incarcerated. But for me to really want to see certain things, and it's like this, like you become desensitized to a lot of things, especially prison will get you that way because it's like watching somebody get stabbed in the yard. I'm telling you, for the most part, you will see it so much that it will no longer bother you at all. Like you just be like, Uh, the one thought which is sad is at least it's not me. It don't matter who it is. It could be your best homeboy. Unless you jumping up for him right there, it's one of those things that, well, it wasn't me. Like, people should know to stay out of certain things, keep your mouth shut, whatever, vice versa. But I'm not gonna go too far into this video because this is somebody else's content. I just wanted to give people a key reason. I mean, like a general idea of why I'm bringing up certain things. There's a lot of things in social media that I don't necessarily see eye to eye with. I don't think a man that has transitioned into a woman should be fighting a female. Like they say, you can go into the whole testosterone thing. At the end of the day, genetically, you were born a man. Your strength is there, and not to say a woman can't beat a man, but if you without all that extras like steroids and all that, if you put 100 men and women in the room, I can guarantee you less than 20 is going to be able to beat the people that they're up against, because physically we're built a lot different. We're meant to endure a lot of stuff. It's like women like to say, oh, well, I endure pregnancy. Well, that's not your legs and your knees and all that. Your knees go to shit faster than ours. And that's even the ones that, participate in sports and things of that nature, just living that hard life. You know what I mean? Physically, we are different, and it's just the way God made us, whether you choose to believe in him or not. Now, I tell people all the time, regardless of what you believe in, if you believe in God, then God don't make mistakes, but you will be judged for what you do on this earth. So, you don't have to necessarily look for man to forgive you or any woman to forgive you. Whatever happens between you and the time of your resting is totally up on the God that you represent, the God that you feel created you. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm gonna say on that, man. Be looking for Zod's vision, where I'm gonna really get deep. Like I'm hoping I have people on the channel, but right now, people be like, oh, I want $2,000. I had one dude, he's so controversial. I was like, okay, hey, can I interview you? You know what I mean? And not even interview. We just sit there and we have a conversation for a few hours, in order to give people a different side of exactly where I'm trying to go with it. Like we're not going with the status quo. For anybody that has represented what I said, we don't do status quo. We may follow rules, but at the end of the day, we are who we are, and we see things a certain way. And that's just the way it is. And that's what, on Zod's Vision, that's what I want to do. Give it to you exactly how I feel. And whether you choose to tune in or not, it's how I feel. Some people may be okay with watching a man beat a woman, or an ex-male that transitioned to a female, no matter the stature or size, choking some woman out. Like, some people are into that anyway. They don't even have to switch genders. It's just, hey, you know what I mean? I want to beat this chick, and they're good with it. You know what I mean? And that's partially the reason why there's a lot of chicks that don't like men, because you're abusive. And you know what I mean? It's like, and it's vice versa. It's like, and it's the same. Watching a female transition to a male and beat up on some little scrawny guy. Like, I don't think you should be fighting a man regardless if you switch genders. It's like, DNA wise, your gender is still your gender. All you did was rearrange a few different parts. And that's not to be not sensitive to your plight, because I understand it's like when you deal with mental issues, and not to say that your sex is a mental issue, but when people don't accept you for what you choose to be, like, it can cause mental breakdowns, it can cause suicides, it can cause a lot of things. That's why I say I don't care what people want to be what you want to be. But for the ones that feel like you need to shove certain down kids' throat in order for them to accept you. A lot of kids don't understand, you know what I mean? They just see it, and it's like, my son has said something not that long. He's 7. He still doesn't understand, and I'm not having that conversation with him because he's a child, and I want him to grow up as a child and not have to deal with some of the ongoings of life until he's actually at that point to where he can fully understand. And I'm not going to teach him to be a homophobe, because it's just not me. I believe in God, and I think that there's certain things that just ain't, but God don't make mistakes, so that's between you and him to sort it out. On that note, man, I'm your boy Nilla Zod. You already know. Be looking for Zod's Vision, and give me an idea who you want to see on the channel, because I'm really trying to, have a conversation with somebody that's not so like-minded, but you know what I mean? It's like, you need a little opposition in order to make it spicy, but be looking for that to get really deep in conversation and not just scattered. Anyway, man, sorry this video's so long, but just practicing. And on that note, I'm your boy Zot, and I'm out.